Now in science, as you can guess, you've got to not just engage that person that minute, you've got to tell them what you've been doing and where you're going to go. And it's telling them a story. I think written language goes back 5,000 to 6,000 years. 30,000 years ago, the Paleolithic hunter-gatherers all looked like us. They were not cavemen. They did not, have horns. So if there wasn't written language, we're just going to say for the last, say 5,000 or 6,000 years. So we're guessing 25,000 years humans have survived without written language. And you'd say, well, how would they pass down ideas? They told stories. And the evolution of telling stories is in our genes. You capture this idea. Every good story has really 3 components: introduction of characters, setup and conflict, and then resolution. Every good story has that. If you remember that, you say, wait a minute, if it worked for 25,000 years, then technically it's been working for 30,000 years before we have written language. This is a great skill and talent you already have in you. So the idea is, if you can take what you're working on right now and just take the skill that you have innately in you and you start to put it in that framework, you can adapt something that's been around for 30,000 years and use that to your advantage to tell people about what you're doing. At the end of the day, you've got to not only tell them what you're doing, but you've got to motivate them. You've got to capture them. You've got to get the interest of the listener, because you've got to get resources. You've got to get a chance, you've got to get an opportunity to evolve. Freezers aren't free. Centrifuges aren't free. Incubators aren't free. Pipette tips, petri dishes, test tubes, scientists in the lab, experiments, media, all of this is going to cost money. You've got to think of yourself beyond what you are, because we're all finite. You've got to move yourself into a team mode. So that team mode, you've got to go out to other people and get the resources. And the way to do that is convince them to give you resources. The story is the challenge today. You essentially have to evolve the work that you're doing or the scenario that you're given, and you've got to tell a story. Elevator pitch. You need funding. You go to a big investment conference, and you're going to go to a meeting, and you step on the elevator, and you're going to go to floor 30. And you've got 30 seconds with somebody. You'd say, I'm a scientist, I really don't like talking to people, and I hope I just get on this elevator. That's one way of going about it. We all have our bad days. But there's another opportunity. And let's say that this person is an investor, or is someone you want involved as a collaborator, or somebody else that you want involved on your team. That's what that idea behind the 30-second elevator pitch is that you're on the elevator. And what it does is it says, first off, I need a story, and then I need a story that I can compress down to 30 seconds. You've got to show not only what you've done so far, but why is it great? Why should somebody invest or partner with you? And that's not a 30-second discussion. But when the 30-second discussion opportunity pops up, then you've got to be ready for it. The challenge is you've got the next invention that you think is going to be really great. You've got to convince people not only that it's great, that they should become involved. A couple things that you need. What the heck is the product? What have you done with the product? What market does it serve? You certainly got to know who the audience is. Through a format of introduction of characters, conflict, and resolution to capture somebody emotionally. From there, you've got to be able to show the next step, which is what's been done and validated, how it's actually going to make it to the marketplace. So we did these experiments, we went and did this work. This is our strategy, game plan, and business model. All right? And in 30 seconds, that's most of what you can get, right? But you can also add one other thing on, which is the resolution part. So we've got setup, we've got our middle part, which is our conflict, or what I call the conflict. So essentially introduction of characters, setup in conflict, and resolution. Resolution is, if you're pitching investors, it could be something as simple as you make a lot of money. Well, that may sound really, really cheesy. I wouldn't suggest that that's what you say, but that's what you really mean. The resolution is essentially, if you're going to invest in me, then I'm going to help you with your business model, which is you're an investor, you want to make money from your money.